going. It's 4 o'clock. I don't like to have guys that are here on time wait.
Hmm.
So I think Josh, let's just start off just by kind of introducing yourself, um, and just tell us a little about yourself.
Gotcha. Uh, hey guys, Josh Ockimey here. Um, I've played first base for the Red Sox. I was a fifth round pick in 2014 by the Red Sox. Um, Out of Newman High School down in South Philly. Um, you know, Coming up on my seventh year in the minors, all the way up in AAA, and um, it's been fun. It's been real fun. You know, Playing against some of the guys I played against, and um, I would say now I'm at a point now where when the season's going, I'm turning on the TV and I see some of my friends playing too. I think that's pretty cool. And um, but yeah, um, that's uh, that's most about me. Um, so
Cool. I think I think you're. I mean, I've known you a long time.
mm,
I think why don't you talk about your time as a high school baseball player? What a typical day would look like for you as a high school player back then, and like maybe any changes you wish you would have changed, as a high school player.
um, yeah, well, I mean, I didn't. It was funny. My Newman being right down in 11th and Moore. That was right down South Philly. And until then, until my freshman year, I never took public transportation. So every morning, I'd wake up, set the schedule, make sure it was on time, and I would take the bus down into school and start class. And right when my day was done around like 2:30, go change and go to practice. Practice would be from 3 to 5 normally, and right after, you know, my dad would be there or my mom would be there, uh, pick me up and go home and finish, some homework or start some homework. Um, yeah, it wasn't until my senior year, like going into my senior year, that all kind of changed. I didn't have an eighth period. I was out every day by 1:30, so that gave me plenty of time to um, get my workouts in almost kind of before practice, um, or even almost like right after. And that was when I got introduced to Rob, and I mean that was a game changer because that was the first time I really started working out, like really working out. So, but yeah, it was fun looking back at it, like how this kind of all started.
No, I think that's cool. I think you at the time were obviously a pretty good player. Why don't you share your some of your college recruiting stuff and kind of going through that process? I think that's cool to hear.
Yep. Um, all right. Um, I guess it started off when I was a freshman. I did this this 3-week camp. Um, Saturdays and Sundays at the time over at the Arsenal, and my first ever college letter was from Rutgers. And at the time, Darren Fenster was a coach at Rutgers. He ends up being my single A coach uh, in in the minors. Then I had him as a double A coach, and I don't know. I always thought that was pretty funny because this baseball world's so small. Um, never meet you never sophomore year. I went down to Jupiter, Florida, for the WWBA Perfect Game tournament, and I received my first college offer from University of Arkansas. And me, being young, immature, I was really excited. And following that March, actually committed there as a verbal commit. And going into the summer, I was, already committed. I was just going to go down into the summer one in Georgia, another big one that was really big at the time. And get in front of, wanted to get in front of some pro scouts. Well, I didn't do well down there at all. The coach left from Arkansas. The guy who recruited me, he ended up going to Wichita State. And the coach from Arkansas came out and saw me, I think, 1 or 2 games. I didn't really play that well. And I ended up, having to decommit from Arkansas. So going into my senior year now, I was, uncommitted and, really almost kind of like scrambling, trying to, find a place to, go to and commit. And went out to the area code games out in Long Beach, California. And I played really well out there before I ended up getting hurt. Got a lot of, attention from there. University of Indiana, Michigan, Stanford, Oregon. I mean, the list went on from out there. And I narrowed it down after that. Took 3 official visits, Indiana, Michigan, and Wichita State. And, I went on those visits, had a really good time, really, really, really cool experience. And, I found it, I was going to, I'd said, hey, if I have to go to college, I'm going to go to University of Indiana. Really felt, really comfortable out there. I love the coach at the time. And again, it's just, those times, you look back and you're like, man, I can't believe that was, I want to say like 7 years ago. but yeah, again, looking back, man, I wish I could, live it over. So.
No, I think that's great. I think, I think hopefully everyone realizes that, the path to X or pro ball or college, it's just like a simple, smooth roller coaster ride. There's always, you have to make big changes in your life and you have to make big decisions in school and academics and sports and, trying to manage all that while also, playing high school and dealing with high school and all the other things that go on. So I think that was a very, very cool story. Why don't you, I think this is cool too. Why don't you go over your off-season typical day? Even some of your, it could be this off-season, previous off-seasons. You can get into some of your work, break it down, like what time you get up. Let's show everyone what you go through every day.
Yeah. Well, when I got into pro ball, first year in the GCL, you play 1 o'clock games, so you're there at the field by at latest 7. I was always at the field by 6:15 in the morning. And it's funny, going to instructs postseason, it's kind of the same schedule. So I don't know why I'm always gotten used to such an early schedule. I know Rob can definitely back me up on this. I'm normally there at Maple Zone in the mornings, by 7:45, 8 o'clock, and I try to get in there, early while the floor is open. I bring my yoga mat and do my yoga there, and that'll get me nice and loose. And normally, I go out, work out or do something, and then I finish the day with either hitting or fielding. So after all that, it's definitely I think I'm done probably by 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's a long first half of the day. Especially waking up probably at like 4:45, 5:45, 5:30, making sure I'm eating right in the morning, getting the best breakfast possible, for me too, and just really finding that routine that works for me in the off season, and keeping it in mind with in season too. So
That's cool. And then didn't you, some of your off-season jobs I think have been pretty cool as well.
hmm I so that was a weird part for me the first half because um, I think my first off season it was I get there early and get done and I'm back in the house by like 2, so I ran through like everything to watch on Netflix. um, I think I ran through like Breaking Bad in like 2 weeks, and finally, like then going into the next off season, I was like, man, I need a job or something. Like I need to do something with all this free time. And so the first two, so not the first off season, the next 2 off seasons, my sister at the time worked HR at this law firm, and she just got me a job in the mailroom. It was like uh, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays was 1 to 5, and then Wednesdays was a full day. So how I would base that 1 to 5 off, um, I would go to Maple Zone, be in at like 8 in the morning, get all my work in, be done at like 12, had to drive all the way back to my house in Philly, change, get dressed, eat, and then go out to work. And I actually I didn't mind it because I got the hard part out of my way, but hard part of the day out. And again, I found less free time that I had, which I didn't mind. I like being occupied. Um, and then that Wednesday, work from 8 to 5, and then I come in at nighttime and do my conditioning. And
That's cool.
and just this past off season, I drove Lyft. I was a Lyft driver in city, and I don't know. I found it pretty fun, just because I mean, it was like again free time. I don't mind meeting people.
Flexible schedule for you, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I remember like one ride I had like the director of like community services in Philly. So I mean, like it's funny. You never know who you can have. So
That's cool. I think I wanted to bring that up because I feel like a lot of people don't really understand what it's like for a professional player in the off season. I think that they might think, whether you have a lot to do or don't have a lot to do, or maybe it's somewhere in the middle. I think the biggest thing, especially for minor league players, obviously, is like you have to get a job.
yeah,
Not only just like because not minor leaguers aren't really getting paid that much, so you have to not only just like have something to do, but also just have some income.
right.
I think that's something I wanted to bring up because I think a lot of people understand that, hey, like, you're not really getting paid in the off season, so you have to find a job.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, not everybody is that $1 million bonus baby.
yep.
So yeah, it's definitely tough too. I mean, you think of times like this too, where like when we got sent back, we didn't know exactly when baseball was going to return, so it wasn't like we could go and apply for a job, even if it's
Yep.
seasonal, because it's we don't know when we'd have to stop working. So
Yep. Why don't you touch on maybe some of the things that you wanted to work on this off season, or some things that you're working on right now, from a baseball side, whether it's something defensively or something with your swing. Just talk on some of the things you've been working on this off season.
uh well, this year it was I was really big in my swing. I know after last year, my power numbers were good, but I always look at that average and my strikeouts. I knew I had to cut those down. So I had to really work on my swing wise, talking about my path through the zone, how I can keep my bat in the zone for as long as possible, and really just breaking down some video of what I could do. Um, I remember, like, I always look at my best year and then this past year, um, like what things look different. I'm not even talking about stance or anything. I'm talking about when the pitcher releases that ball, where am I? Where am I, like, first starting off, like, my body, like, am I in a good position where I can cover a certain amount of pitches? Um, how's my rhythm look? Um, and then throughout the zone, if I can get, like, well, throughout the swing, if I can get like a, side angle view or anything like that to see, where my hands are going through the zone and how fast they're coming out the zone. Um, yeah, and that was this year through the swing. I really wanted to, um, almost like just understand how, what a swing is supposed to look like. And because, I mean, before this year I was very stubborn, especially with hitting wise, because a lot of guys were saying stuff, not bad stuff at all. It was just stuff that I didn't understand. So I kind of said, like, hey man, if I don't understand this and you guys aren't really explaining it, there's no way I can learn it. So yeah, that was me the first almost like 6 years. And but yeah, it's that was this year. I had to really just understand it. Defensively, that was 2 off seasons ago. Uh, I remember I'd be in there on the field for almost 45 minutes to an hour just taking ground balls. I mean, I play first base, but I'll take ground balls anywhere. I feel the more you can change it up and just get like a different view and footwork for when fielding is only going to benefit you. So I mean, I went from taking almost 1,300 ground balls a day to really just at the end I cut it down to about 300 or 400, and really just I was able to get 400 quality reps of ground balls rather than 13 or 1,200 or 1,300 ground balls where I probably only did like almost half of them right. So yeah, and that was a big thing I had to learn. Consistency of quality.
That's cool. And I can definitely attest to those grounders. I've even hit a couple buckets for him.
Yeah. I remember that year. That year before anybody, came in, I was asking. I was like, Rob, you just hit me maybe, just 3 or 4 buckets if you got time. So
that's cool. We got a question from Drew. Josh, he said, even though spring training was cut short, did you get to play in some big league spring training games? And then how did some vets like Bogarts, Devers, JD, and Jackie Bradley influence or help your game at all?
Yeah, I did. Well, first, yeah, I got a good amount of games, and I think I started maybe 3 or 4 of them. I thought I was doing pretty well. I was feeling a lot more.
Would you have three homers, Josh? 3 homers? Don't say pretty well. Throw 3 homers, everyone. He had a great spring. Good spring.
Yeah, I was definitely driving the ball pretty well. Yeah, and So I'm trying to think of the so-called vets, because me and Devers signed the same year. We were on the same GCL team. I've known Devers since he was that 17-year-old baby we brought up from the Dominican. And so yeah, I'm cool with all the guys. Bogey, JD. JD's really good at helping not only me but everybody with understanding, again, path, like my swing path, and what my rhythm should be, and I mean Jackie's just the ultimate teammate. The guy is welcoming. He's welcoming from day one. I like people talking about like big league. I've never been big league from any of those guys. They're all, grade A guys, and it makes it a lot easier to play when you have a team like that.
Nice. Cool. Good question, Drew. Yeah, guys, if you have any questions, please just throw them out. Kind of just very informal, just kind of discussion here. I think it's cool. I know, Josh, we've chatted in the past a lot, and I like to hear this. Just like, some of your thoughts on, and maybe some of the better pitchers that you might have faced, or some from a slider standpoint. Not sure if these guys are going to know a lot of them, but just some of the guys that you faced that have been like, wow, like that dude's legit.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny. I was talking about this the other day, and I'm like, it kind of gets to a point where nothing really surprises you anymore. But I mean, if you got to pick it out like pitch by pitch, I mean, there are some nasty guys that I've seen. My last at bat before spring training got cut short, I faced Nate Eovaldi, and I mean that was I think he definitely knew I was sitting on his fastball, and so I got 2 at bats off him. He kept flipping me in curveballs, splitters, cutters. It was they were really 2 really good at bats against him, but I mean he showed me the entire kitchen, and I mean it was nasty. I had. And in 2017, Chris Sale was my first live arm I saw. So I went from season to seeing no pitching to my first live at bat being Sale. And that was the first time I ever saw him, like faced him, or, seeing an arm that, that was like that. And I'm a left-handed hitter. He was going, first of all, he was going at like 60%. It was doing like 94-mile-per-hour sinkers. And it was funny because on the last pitch, he, tipped his glove that way. He told me he was throwing a slider, and I knew it was coming. And from where it started, I think it started, well, it looked like it was going to go in a dugout. And it ends up crossing almost in the right-handed batter's box. And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, I don't know how guys hit that. I don't know how guys sit on it. Because, I mean, this was 2017, Sale too. He was fully healthy, again, at 60, 70%, still throwing 94.
Yeah.
I think that year I saw him strike out somebody with like a 101-mile-per-hour sinker. So, those guys are different.
Cool story. I think like too, like a lot of guys, like you're not seeing any slow pitchers. Like every guy that you see is 95, 96, 97,
Mm-hmm.
98. Like there is no like, oh, like this guy's only throwing 92 today.
Mm-hmm. No, those, and you actually learn those are some of the worst guys to face because they don't throw anything over the middle of the plate.
Nothing straight.
Nothing straight. It's something funky that they do, and they're really not going to give you much to hit. So, and that was a big thing I had to learn. I had to learn play discipline, and because you face guys like that, and you're just like, man, like that that pitch that looks like it's going to be down the middle, it's not. It's either going to end up in the dirt, too far inside or too far outside.
Mm-hmm.
So that was you have to learn it. You have to learn to keyhole some of these guys, and then there's some guys. I faced a guy this past year. He was up in the big leagues. I think he has probably almost 8 to 10 years of service time. His name's John Edwards, and he was a middle relief pitcher for the Indians. I don't know where he is now, but I mean, so this is a game at home. I'm already 2 for 2, feeling good at the plate, and I see this guy's chart, and I'm like, oh, just fastball, slider, curveball. That's it. And they said fastball straight, has a little life on it. Curveball is 12-6. Slider normally thrown in the dirt. I'm like, all right, like I should be good here. So I went up there looking for his fastball. I saw 3 of the nastiest curveballs I've ever seen. Um, these things were popping up, like starting above the zone and bouncing, uh, right, right in front of the plate. And it was messed up because um, there would be ones that pop up and hit, bounce, and then the other ones will pop up and end up right down the middle. So, and they were hard too. They were like 83, 84. So it was like, I think that was the at bat. I was like, you know what? I don't think I got this guy here.
It's great. I got another question. Just like I think you might have touched on this a little bit too, but just maybe expand on it. Like, what is your mindset in the box? Like, what are you thinking? What do you is each at bat different? Is each pitch different?
Yep. I think first that causes you have to know the situation. Um, so I think that kind of dictates everything. If there's a runner on third, less than 2 outs, infield's playing back, um, you should go up there a little bit more aggressive. I mean, it's pretty much a free run. Um, what I do there, I try to just be like, you know what, infield's back. Let me just, have good rhythm in here, and you know, if something is around the plate or kind of a good pitch to hit, put a good swing on it, and get this guy in. Um, Runner on second, less than 2 outs, or runner on second, no outs. You go up there with the approach, kind of thinking like the least I want to do here is at least advance this guy to third base. So again, you look being a little bit more aggressive. For me as lefty, I'm looking more uh, getting something to get the head out, and again, at least move them and drive them in. Um, but yeah, definitely the situation definitely calls for it. Um, Again, you go over scouting reports. You see what this guy has a tendency to do, whether he has late life on his fastball, or he kind of spins the ball, meaning like he'll push it up that way, or vertically. So you kind of go up there. All right, I'm thinking, you set your limits on how high you want to go in the zone. If the pitch starts above this line, I'm not going to swing at it. And again, it's just certain game plans. It's almost hard to put your approach for an at bat, and when there's so many other things that go into it. So
That's cool. Got another question, which I think this is a pretty cool question from Drew again. Is there a certain type of camaraderie with other prospects that you have worked with through the minor leagues, such as Dalback and others? Like, do you guys try to help each other get better at the same time, knowing that you guys are all kind of competing for the same spot?
Yeah. I mean, there definitely is, because again, like I'll say this: the worst thing to be is a guy in the clubhouse rooting against your competition. It helps nobody. It doesn't help. It doesn't help you at all, because now you're just putting more pressure on yourself to go out and outperform somebody. And I personally think you play your best when everybody's together. It's all a team. Yeah, it's definitely something where it's like, man, just go out there and play together. That's it. I can say that. I mean, me and Bobby are really good friends. Um, me and Chavis are really good friends. His parents are really good friends with my parents. So yeah, um, it's. I mean, from the outside looking in, some people would think that, but from the inside talking out, it's completely different. So.
No, I can definitely attest that too. Just like, just seeing everyone in the gym, who's
Mm-hmm.
everyone's friends with everyone.
Yeah.
There is definitely a kind of baseball camaraderie and culture, which is kind of cool about the game, where you get to know people, you become friends with them. They move on different teams, you're still friends with them. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's kind of cool to see and recognize. Whereas I think you definitely put it right. Whereas like from an outsider, it's like, oh, you guys are competing for the same spot, but Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't work like that.
No, no, and that goes for you know people on other teams too. Like I have a friend who was with us with the Red Sox, traded to the Giants. He's big leaguer up there, and we're still friends. And it's funny, I got to face him in Double A, and I think I was like 2 for 2 off him. But still, I mean, he still came back and hey, good swings, and I talking to him, I was like, yeah, said thank you. You really he showed me some nasty stuff in that at bat too, but it's just that certain type of like you said, camaraderie, respect, where it's like, hey, like I know, like I'm we're friends, but I'm still facing you today. I'm still trying to get you out, but the end goal isn't for me to like hate you or you to hate me. So
Mm-hmm. No, that's cool. So I'll kind of open it up. If anyone has any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat, or just you can unmute and throw it out.
yeah, fire away, for real. I'm excited to answer some questions.
Yeah, yeah. Like you have your coaches, and you said one of them you knew. Like, do they try to change your swing a lot? And is there times where it's not working for you? Like you're like, Skip, I got to go back to what was working for me.
That's actually a really good question. No, nobody tries to change your swing. Some like I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of stuff that I've been told. Maybe more of like an approach type of thing where like maybe get a little bit too pull happy, and they just tell you, hey, like kind of flip it, like, hey, you look like you're getting a little bit too pull happy. Try to stay more left center or up the middle a little bit. Yeah, that's I think that's the most I've gotten so far. Yeah, because I don't think I've ever gotten a swing change suggestion. I haven't seen any of the coaches say to anybody, hey, you have change your swing, or because I mean, and I don't know, I believe this in pro ball, your swing is your swing. Now, how to maximize a swing, I think that's the big part of it. So I think that's what they really try to not change, more adjust. So
Cool, good question, Drew. Got another question in the chat, Josh, which I think is pretty cool. Were you always the best on your baseball teams through high school?
Through high school, no. My freshman year, it was funny. I was actually just with him. Mike Zolk was our second baseman. He was a second baseman committed to North Carolina, and I still think, I'm like, if he would have gotten a chance, he'd be in the major leagues right now. He had the mentality. He had, and it's funny because, like, I think even in pro ball, he would not have been the best player out on the field, but he would have definitely, outplay those other really good players out there. Just because, I mean, at a certain point, talent kind of cuts out on some things. It becomes more of who wants it or who plays harder. So and I mean, then you get the guys who have the talent and plays harder, and those are your superstars out there. But yeah, it was funny. That was my freshman year. I don't think I was the best one out there.
That's cool. Cool, guys. Any other questions for Josh? I have one more question, so I'm going to finish with one. But go ahead, Drew.
This is kind of like an overall type question, but I mean, how is it like to go down to Arizona Fall League and be with all like the other top prospects, and knowing that you're in a way so close to the majors?
Uh, yeah, I mean, it was fun, um, but it was pretty cool too because you find out, those guys are just like you. Like, they like to have a good time. That we both enjoy baseball. We both enjoy. I was just playing FIFA, so they uh, they both like playing FIFA too. So um, yeah, that you figure out, they're people too. They're just not, these superstars that you see out on, MLB Pipeline or stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, a lot of those guys I thought were really, really cool. Became good friends with a lot of those guys. So, and especially being out in Arizona, I mean, you could be like down the street from, somebody who, on another team who, who either was in the big leagues or, his chances is just coming up.
Yeah. Last question. What's kind of like, the minor league grind like? Is it you don't get any sleep? Do you eat, like stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It really is tough. Um, buses, going from pretty much city to city in a different state. So yeah, I mean, like the things I hated were they're called night game getaway days. So you finish your game at like 10 at night, and then you got to be somewhere. Like we had a night game in Wilmington. This was when I was in high A. Night game in Wilmington, and we had to follow that up with another night game in North Carolina. So I mean, we got done at 10, left at 11, and we didn't get in till I say 6 in the morning. So that I love getting a good breakfast in. So I mean, we got our stuff off the bus. I went down the lobby, ate breakfast, and went upstairs and went right back to sleep. And yeah, so figuring again like that, but that was my routine. There's a lot of guys who slept on the bus, you know, went upstairs, went right back to sleep, and woke up and just ate lunch and head to the field. So yeah, it's definitely tough. Um, then you got to deal with, man, there's a bad umpire back there today. He's calling this pitch. It's not a strike. I keep telling him, but he's not listening. Um, and there's some places that, that's not your favorite to play at. You feel like every time you go there, you don't get your best, games in. And again, maybe you may not even like the field. The surface is tough, or the hotel sucks. So, yeah, it's definitely tough. Actually,
The
definitely
grind
tough.
is real. The grind is
Yeah,
real.
yeah, it's almost hard to explain because it's like you almost got to go through it to
No, yeah.
see it.
It's cool. Good question, bro.
Thank you.
No problem.
So, what do you do mentally to like prepare for a game, prepare for an at bat, or just to keep your confidence up? Because like obviously sometimes you'll go through like rough like batches at the plate, stuff like that. What do you do like mentally to like go through get through all that?
I think that kind of starts in the batter's box. Well, on the on deck circle. Well, I even say before the game, you get your scouting reports. You have a game plan. You stick to it. You have to have full confidence in your plan up there. Can't go up there second guessing. Like I know when we face Kluber in his rehab start, I like bringing that out because he's a guy with like 6 different pitches. Can't hit all 6 of them. When he's at his best, you probably can only hit one of them. And I remember we saw the scouting report. I'm sitting there looking. I'm like, man, like he, likes to run guys off. Especially lefties, run balls off the plate. And then when he gets our eyes looking out there, he likes to come in. So I, took a note of that. And I remember when it was my time to go up there, I was fully prepared, got in a good count, and hit a really good ball off him. And and that's just an example of, having full confidence in your plan. You talked about slumps and, rough patches. I think how I got out of mine last year, I focused on the stuff I could control. I can't control, where a ball went after I hit it. I can't control. I saw that ball run off the plate, but the umpire still called it a strike. No, so for me, I wanted to make sure I was on time. And I remember it took probably about 10 to 12 at-bats for me to just focus on that. Was I on time? Yes or no? Yes or no? And and I did that for, again, that was maybe just 10 to 12 at-bats. I made sure I just did that. And then naturally it started to come like, all right, I kind of got out of the slump. I was hitting balls a lot better because I had more confidence up there. The fact that I was doing something right, it felt like right, definitely, boosted the confidence and got me out of that slump.
Cool. Another quick question for you. What's the best stadium you've played in?
Ooh. Minor league. I don't know. I love Indianapolis. We were there. That place is sick.
Whose affiliate is that?
The Pittsburgh Pirates out in Indianapolis. It's like right downtown. I'm trying to think. The surface is unbeatable. Everything's flat, leveled. It feels like you get a ground ball, you put your glove down, and the ball is going to roll right into it. The JW Marriott is like right there in like left center field. It like towers over the field. The hotel, the hotel's like right down the street from the Colts Stadium, and downtown is like probably like a 5-minute walk. So I think that definitely helps how I feel about the stadium too. Plus they get like 14 or 15,000 fans like almost every game. It felt like, so I always thought that was my favorite. I'd even say Greenville too. Greenville Drive, our single A stadium. That was pretty cool. It was an exact replica of Fenway. Again, I think that year before Columbus entered that league, they got best field surface of the year for like the past 3 years. So that was definitely fun to play, nice to play in.
Nice, cool. All right, guys. Any other questions for Josh? That's some good ones so far.
Yeah. Last one. Is there like a certain pitcher, when you're in the minors that kind of moves up along, they're on another team that moves up along and you just own them, like you do really well against them?
I'm not saying own. I know some guys who own me. I own. Man, I don't know. Even against some of like their guys, best guys, we go at it, and I've gotten them and they've gotten me. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I guess no, because he's gotten me out in single A. No. All right. So this guy for the Rockies, he got me out I faced him a bunch of times. It wasn't until 2018, and I faced him a lot in 17. It wasn't until 2018, and like my 6th at bat of the year off him. He got me out. So I was like, I think I was like 9 for 10 or 10 for 11 off him. And again, he to this day, he has some of the nastiest stuff I've ever seen. It's just that, you know, when I notice when guys get better, you also get better, you know, with them too. I wish it was like that for everybody, because again, there's some guys I face who own me. This is one guy from the Phillies. I got my first hit off him in 2018. I faced him in 15, 16, 17, all that. I think I was like 0 for 9 with like 9 strikeouts and like 1 foul ball off him. So he definitely owned me.
Cool, guys. Anything else? All good? All right, cool, guys. Well, I think Josh, I think you gave some great insights today, man. I think, you know, you showed that there's a lot into the pro ball, the minor league side, and, you know, the off season, the in season grind is real, and you know, definitely, you know, I think I definitely appreciate your time and for kind of coming on today with us. And I think we'll just kind of leave it at that, unless you have anything else.
No, I'm all good. I'm all good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Cool.
Thank you.
No problem. I'm glad I can answer you guys' questions.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right,
All right.
guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Josh. I'll
Thank
talk to you. All right.
So, thank you.
See you guys. Have a good one.
See you, Rob.
See you guys.
Yeah.
See you, Josh.
Yeah.